And welcome back. Now let's break down the winter weather threat for Central Texas for both tonight and through the day on your Thursday. We're still seeing quite a bit of liquid precipitation. Now that's good because a lot of us are in that drought situation. It won't show up on tomorrow's drought monitor, but it will on next Thursday's drought monitor, even though we don't really have any chances of precipitation beyond tomorrow's winter weather. We're already starting to see some of that frozen precipitation over places like Brownwood and Comanche. That's where that freezing line is passing right through right now, and that's why those pinks are starting to show up in our far northwestern counties. And I think it's going to be those counties that are going to have the most significant icing, and we'll talk through that in just a second. But for all of Central Texas, there is a winter storm warning. A majority of us will be under that from midnight and early tomorrow morning through tomorrow evening. Now, some of our northwestern counties are going to have that starting at around 6 o'clock because we could be seeing ice accumulations in those areas getting up to around 1/2 inch. So we're going to break all this down for you in just a second. But first, let's time all this out for you. By the time we get to midnight, the I-35 corridor is going to be seeing that rain change on over to that frozen precipitation, that freezing rain, that sleet, that wintry mix. And the temperatures are going to be key in all of this because as long as they are above freezing, that ice can't really accumulate like it would want to, but then it will eventually do so, especially as we head through 6 a.m. on your Thursday, and those temperatures are going to continue to fall throughout the course of the day. And then by the time we get to the noontime hour, our eastern zones will see some of that light glazing up to around 1/10 inch of ice before we clear up by around 6 o'clock. But travel is going to be treacherous no matter how you slice it. About 1/10 to 1/4 inch, mainly for some of our eastern zones, as well as along that I-35 corridor, and even more so as you head out to our western zones, up to around 1/2 inch of ice. That could bring down some trees, and that could bring down some power lines as well. And as we go through those impacts, I'm going to show it to you piece by piece. A light glaze like what we're going to see in our eastern zones could result in some ice and trees, as well as those power lines and those slick spots on the roads. But then by the time we get to that I-35 corridor, we're looking at more of 1/4 inch, and that can become a bit more problematic because we could have those bridges become a little bit more dangerous because they freeze first, and then those roads start to ice up as well. And power outages could last for days if you get up to around 1/2 inch, especially, which is what we could be seeing along the US 281 corridor, as well as other areas west of I-35, such as Killeen and Copperas Cove, as well as Gatesville. No way to sugarcoat anything here. This is a 1 on the Jordan meter. Just unfortunately, that's the truth here. We do dry out for Friday, but then those winds are going to really start to pick up, and wind chills Friday night could get down to around 0 degrees before we get right back to near 50 for the latter part of the weekend, and we improve greatly as we start next week. Guys?